Hello everyone, Manithral here, and welcome to a little bit of a heads up video actually this time around. As you guys probably already know, especially if you follow RuneScape at all quite a bit, or if you follow the channel, well, I didn't mention this too much on the channel, so I did have one episode about the Dimension of the Damned, about the hype of it. I'm still really looking forward to it myself. So I will say expect probably a good deal of the content revolving around that come next week. Now, I know points are only really earned for 1 hour per day, so I will be, at least getting the points earned, but during the off time of those points earned, I want to see if you can't still keep going and keep getting stuff. By that I mean like going and trying to make as much arrows, runes, etc. as I could possibly get my hands on. I do have like a style of combat I have in mind. I know certain other people probably won't do that. Well, might not do that. I shouldn't say won't do that. But I do have certain things I have in mind that I want to do for this. So that being said, next week there's probably going to be a lot of content. It might be a daily video showing you guys my current progress, my current points, but it'll probably be a very RuneScape week next week, and it's going to be really involving the Dimension of the Damned, which I'm really looking forward to. And sorry if at any point I kind of censor that. Because for whatever reason, that game mode has queued something with YouTube, and they just don't like the name of it. I don't know if it's just the system is overly sensitive or what, but it's more of an annoying thing than anything else. I want to keep doing exactly what I've always been doing, regardless of that. But yeah, so there's going to be a lot of that. Now, I did have a request for a video that is going to be somebody wanted to see a Vindicta guide. I also had somebody requesting a Queen Black Dragon guide, which I'm very glad they did, because I kind of always thought that the Queen Black Dragon would be a lot harder than she is. And it turned out that I actually kind of handled her pretty decent. Especially not for fighting it too often. Now, there are certain things that I kind of learned along the way, and that's kind of the reason why I left those parts in where I died, because I wanted you guys to see, what happens if you don't follow certain steps, if you're just experimenting. This way you guys can see what to look out for, what to do, what not to do. That's one thing I do like to do in my kind of guides and my stuff like that, is like what not to do. You don't want to do this. This is what could happen. So if you ever do see me die in like a boss battle guide, it could be, player mistake, it could be internet drop, but also I'm not going to cut those parts out, because I think it's only fair to you for you guys to see what happens if those kind of things happen. But for next week, I do. Somebody did request a Vindicta guide. So I think it's Vindicta and Gorvok. So I will be looking into fighting her fighting that combo this weekend for a boss guide come sometime next week, early next week, maybe Sunday even. So that's my goal for that, and hopefully I can get that to you guys as soon as possible, because I am actually curious about fighting her in general, because I have fought Gregovic, and I want to have a little bit more practice with Gregovic before I actually post a guide on him. See, a big thing for me with a boss guide is, I know other people who have done bossing quite frequently, big-time bossers. They'll probably actually say, don't expect every boss to be as easy as like God of War's Dungeon 1 or the King Black Dragon. Now, that God of War's Dungeon 1, that is excluding Nex. Nex is a different creature on its own there, different level there. But a lot of those you can kind of, you have a lot of wiggle room, you have a lot of relaxation, and if you have the right gear buildup, you can actually be there easily for 1 hour, no problem. Whereas these other bosses, you don't really have that kind of luxury. So I'm not used to that. So I'm kind of a little weird whenever it comes to, I didn't get 15 kills of this boss. This is hard. I'm doing horrible. And no, it's just, I'm not used to that. That's all it is. But so do expect a Vindicta guide coming early next week, if not the weekend. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Of course, I'm going to do some research into the guide. Well, into it first. Fight her a few times. See how it goes. And if I honestly can't fight her, and I can't fight her in a proficient way, sorry, but there might not be a guide. But more than likely, Vindicta I will be able to fight. Because from what I've seen, it's just the point of learning the mechanics, which is how a lot of bosses are. But there's certain guides, certain bosses that I don't know if I'll actually ever fully fight. So, like, I can say I'll look into it, but if I put it this way, if I ever say I'll look into it and I'll get you a guide as soon as I can, that actually means that I have plans that, I can get that guide. I can probably do that boss fight. Like, I'm 90% confident I can do that boss fight, at least well enough to make a guide for you guys, so you guys can see, like, what my struggles are, what to expect, and kind of skill rotations, that kind of thing. Now, keep in mind, I use Revolution a lot, which is actually kind of hurting my damage output. But if there's ever a request for a boss and I say, I'll look into it, but I can't promise anything, that means that I'm really not sure about that boss fight. That's all it is. Like, I'm going to be straight up with you. I mean, I'm going to try to get, all the requests I can out, but there's a boss that I'm really not sure on, like the raid bosses. Mostly because I don't really know a raid group that doesn't require you to already have experience within the raid, so it kind of presents a little problem if you don't have experience in a raid, but yet they require an experience in a raid. How are you supposed to get the experience if they, you get my point there. But so do expect that hopefully soon. But that's, I just want to give you guys a little bit of heads up what's to come this week, well, next week. This way you guys can know there's going to be a lot about Dimension of the Damned. And then also with that boss battle guide, because, well, let's face it, the boss is going to be out before the actual, well, if it's out Monday, it'll be out before Dimension of the Damned, so that will be that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to give you guys a brief heads up because not too often I do a very heavily themed week. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, later guys.